Chapter 28 Gobble. After Mr. and Mrs. Meek had scooped up Myrtle, Fing and all the food off the road and bundled everything into the back of their little car, they drove home. It was only when they opened the boot that they realised Fing had not just devoured all the custard creams. "Oops," said Father. "Oops indeed," agreed Mother. "Oh no." Fing had eaten all the crisps, all the chocolate, and all the cake too. It had chocolate all round its mouth. Well, one can only assume it was its mouth. Indeed, we can only assume it was chocolate. Having eaten all the mountain of food from the supermarket, Fing was now munching its way through the spare tyre. Gobble. As a result of all this eating, Fing had dramatically expanded. It was now around the size of a space hopper, and just like a space hopper, it bounced. It bounced off the boot, boink, past Mr. and Mrs. Meek, boink, up to the path, boink, until it reached the front door, boink. As Fing couldn't go any further now, it bounced and bounced against the door. Boink, 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 boink. The boinks got harder and harder. Boink, boink, boink. "Just one moment, please, Fing," called out Mother. "I will get the door open in a jiffy." It was the best she could do, as sadly she didn't speak Fing. The lady chased after the creature, jangling the front door keys. Just as she had the key ready to put in the lock, boink, boink, boink! Fing bounced against the door with such force that it flew off its hinges. Bash! The door toppled into the house. "Oh, I see, you have the door open already," remarked Mother, as cheerfully as she could muster. Meanwhile, Father lifted Myrtle out of the car. The girl had got even heavier in the weeks since he'd been on his adventure. "Oh, my back," he yelped in pain as he tried to take her weight alone. "Do you mind walking the 2 or 3 steps to the house just this once, my petal?" "No," she snapped. "Well, I'll do my best," sighed Father. As he staggered past the boot with Myrtle in his arms, she peered in and saw the empty food packages. "Where's all me grub?" she demanded. "My dearest one, I have some rather upsetting news." "What?" "I'm afraid Fing ate it all." "No!" "It didn't quite finish the spare tile, if you fancied a nibble." Wah! Chapter 29. Big Fing Meet Little Fing. Now, dear reader, I invite you to regard this splendid, heartwarming scene. In the living room, Fing was bouncing excitedly next to the cage that housed the other thing from the pet shop. Boink, boink, boink. Mother looked on with delight. "How super," she squealed. "Big Fing just can't wait to meet Little Fing." Little Fing had emerged from under a pile of newspaper and was pressing its mouth, or perhaps its other end, up against the bars of its cage. Big Fing bounced against it. "Eek, eek, eek," it squeaked. "Boink, boink, 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 boink." With some difficulty, Father lugged his daughter into the room and deposited her on the sofa. A cloud of dust filled the room. "These 2 adorable creatures are going to be the best of friends," said Mother. "Look, Myrtle dearest." "What?" "As they are your pets, perhaps you'd like to introduce Big Fing to Little Fing." "Cartoons." "Now?" "Yeah, now." Mother sighed and switched on the television. Myrtle stared at it, picking her nose idly. "I know from studying all the animal behaviour books in the library that when introducing one pet to another, it is sensible to take things very slowly," began Mrs. Meek. Excellent point, Mother. Thank you kindly, Father. You hold on to Big Fing while I gently take Little Fing out of its cage. Mr. Meek did what he was told. He kneeled down, slightly snagging his long beard under his knees. Ouch! Are you all right? Yes, I'm fine, he replied sharply. Then he pinned Big Fing to the carpet to stop it from bouncing. Grrr! Meanwhile, Mrs. Meek gently opened Little Fing's cage. Eek, eek, eek! Right, she said as she reached in. I am just going to let them sniff each other first. Mother cupped her hand over Little Fing, who was only the size of a marble. Slowly, 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 she brought the creature down to meet the newest member of the family. Little Fing's eyes widened. Little Fing, meet Big F. But before she could say ing, Big Fing burst out of Father's grip, bounced up, grrr, and chomp. Devoured Little Fing in one gulp. That didn't go quite to plan, remarked Mother. Perhaps the scene wasn't as heartwarming as I had hoped. Apologies. Chapter 30. Instant replay. Myrtle, darling, began Mother. What? Replied the girl, still glued to the television. It's Little Fing. There's no nice way to put this. It's been, well... What? Eaten? No! Wailed Myrtle. We should have got her a pet bereavement counsellor, hissed Father. My poor, poor angel, said Mother. You must be very sad. Yeah, exclaimed Myrtle. Sad I missed it. Excuse me? I want an instant replay. A what? Duh. Get Big Fing to sick it up and then gobble it down again. Tears welled in Mother's eyes and she put her handkerchief over her mouth. She had never heard anything so stomach-churningly disgusting. No, she said certainly and firmly, we can't do that. Then shut your cake hole and let me finish my cartoon. Of course, my angel. I am so sorry for disturbing you. Shut up. Mrs. Meek then turned back to Mr. Meek. She noticed something was very wrong. Father? Yes, Mother? Where is Fing? The man looked around the living room. The creature was nowhere to be seen. Oh no, I don't know. Bang! There it was, smashing through the door to the kitchen. It must still be hungry, said Father. The pair raced into the kitchen. They watched in horror as Fing destroyed everything in sight in its quest for food. Grrr! Plates smashed on the floor. Pots and pans were sent flying. Glasses shattered. Using one of its ends, Fing opened the fridge door. Once inside, it hoovered up everything. Gobble, 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 gobble. Make it stop, screamed Mother. I was saving that chocolate mousse for Myrtle's tea. Too late. Slurp. It was gone in half a second. Father went to grab Fing as it bounced out of the fridge, but it bashed straight into him, knocking him to the ground. Grrr! No! Screamed Mother. She jumped on top of Fing, sitting on it. I don't believe it, I am sitting on Fing, she exclaimed. Grrr! The creature looked up menacingly before rolling every which way to try to escape. There you go, look. There is Mother, sitting on top of Fing. Still Mother pushed down with her bottom. Take that! All of a sudden, Fing stopped completely still. Oh no, I've killed it, exclaimed Mother. Part 5, Kaboom. Chapter 31, Pong. All was silent until the creature closed its one eye in concentration and let out a deafening sound. Frrrr! The sound was followed by an almighty dropping being dropped thud. It was so almighty that it was actually larger than Fing itself. Picking himself up from the floor, Father admired the dropping. How is that even possible? I don't know, replied Mother, but at least we know which end is which. Poor little Fing must be in there somewhere. Show you what those are, the droppings from Fing. Well, I'm afraid to say that there's not much hope for it now, Mother, said Father, joining his wife as she peered at the dropping. No indeed. A smell so wretched that it began peeling the paint off the walls filled the room. It was so vile that even Fing's eyes watered. Poor Mrs. Meek covered her mouth with her handkerchief. Fing's thing pongs. Don't you fret, Mother, I will dispose of it, replied Father, as he reached into the cupboard for the dustpan and brush. However, as soon as he brought them out, he realised they were laughably small for the task. Let me, said Mother. With that, she held her breath and pushed the dropping out of the kitchen and into the garden. There, she said, brushing her hands together at a job well done. Well done, Mother. Thank you, Father. Then the pair stared at Fing, who was now devouring the Meeks' family selection of breakfast cereals, boxes and all. Munch, crunch, all the time growing bigger and bigger and bigger. What on earth are we going to do with it? Asked Father. Mother thought for a moment. Could you take it back? Take it back? To where you found it? I nearly died getting here. Well, I worry what might happen to Myrtle if Fing stays. If it did one of its droppings on her, she could be buried alive. The pair looked lost in thought for a moment. Only for a moment, though. They were too nice to entertain the notion any longer. Then Father had an idea. How about we lock it into the shed? Myrtle? No, Fing. Yes, of course. I knew that. I think that is a splendid idea, Father. Thank you kindly, Mother. Grrr, growled Fing. Its one eye narrowed. The creature didn't like the idea one bit. So as fast as it could, it bounced out of the kitchen into the hallway. Boink, boink, boink. Oh no, said Father. It's on the move.